Today we will start the tax audit, direct and indirect tax. Within this paper, we have 30 marks, So here, if we see the syllabus, here have 4 modules only, 30 marks. Income tax audit in Bangladesh, individual income tax audit, corporate tax audit, tax audit for different sectors, organizations. So we have seen here there are 4 modules in this paper: income tax audit in Bangladesh, individual tax audit, corporate tax audit, and tax audit for different sector organization. So if you start from first one, income tax audit in Bangladesh. So this is the fundamental thing here. After study this chapter, we will be understand what is audit, what is auditing, what is tax audit, what is audit cycle, risk-based audit, supreme audit institution of Bangladesh, income tax audit, purpose of income tax audit, selection method, and some documentation, taxpayer rights, tax audit representation, joint audit, avoiding income tax audit, overview of the income tax in Bangladesh, the assessment cycle, and etc. we will be understand after discussing this chapter. Firstly, what is audit? We know it. Audit basically, audit is an independent examination. Basically is with the accounting and financial record, and auditing, that means financial auditing is the process of examining an organization or individual's financial record to determine if they are accurate and true, or etc. So here there are some external auditors, internal auditors. So we know the internal auditors within the organization and external auditors outside the organization. Some are statutory auditor, and some we know there are different types of auditor: internal audit, external audit, statutory audit, government audit, CISA audit, Bangladesh Bank audit, or inspection, etc. So audit cycle is that here. An audit cycle is the accounting process that auditors employ the review of a company's or organization financial information. It is start from identifying audit topics, set the standards, collect data for as sampling, analyze data, and make the report and implement the changing. So here the audit cycle include the steps that an auditor will take to ensure that the company's financial information is valid and accurate before releasing the financial statement. And there are 4 main phases in internal audit also: prepare it, perform it, report it, and follow up. So these 4 are the fundamental 4 phases of internal audit also. And if we see the key audit process in an audit financial statement, firstly pre-audit, and then there that means audit plan next, resource planning, risk assessment, then internal control over financial reporting assessment, then sub-step review the financial data, and final report. So nowadays we are seeing that risk-based audit. So what is risk-based audit? Risk-based audit is an internal methodology which is primarily focused on the inherent risks involved in the activities or system and provide assurance that risk is being managed by the management, because we cannot destroy risks, but risks can be diverted, risks can be shifted if we know it. So risk-based auditing approach first identify the audit universe, and then identify it, break up the process, risk identification, then risk assessment and evaluation, then risk scope and heat mapping. This is the heat mapping. and risk-based internal audit plan, and then execution it, and again this cycle is continuing. So here, tax audit methodology. But one thing, what's our study, that means tax audit. Basically, tax audit means that authority audit. That means in our country, our NBR or DCT and tax people, they audit that. That is the tax audit. But tax audit methodology, they have the annual plan, strategies, and that the audit, if within the organization, that is the internal tax audit through the internal people. So they have need some planning based on the organizational structure, mission, vision, scope, objective, and then audit program executed, audit procedure technique, plan how to evidence, plan audit examination, and then execute the audit program and make the audit report, and within that report take the action plan and follow up. So that also the working papers. We will discuss totally later on. So here in our country, we have the Supreme Audit Institution of Bangladesh. It's called the Comptroller and Auditor General of Bangladesh. We know it, CISA, is the Supreme Audit Institution. If we go the website of the CISA, then we will see they have the vision. Vision means here attaining accountability and transparency in public financial management for achieving good governance. Also mentioning the mission, conducting effective audit of public sector operation for optimizing utilization of the public resource, providing reliable and objective information to assist the establish accountability and transparency in government activities. So this is the core value of an auditor. Auditor must be professionalism. He or she should be reliable. They need the reliability, objectivity, accountability, credibility, transparency, integrity, viability, and finally ethics. So that objective must be within an auditor. Comptroller of Auditor General, we know here, not going to describe, is the, as in our constitutional mandate, if we go our constitution or Sangvidhan, there under section 127 part 8, the Comptroller and Auditor General, establishment of the office of the Auditor General, and under section 128, function of Auditor General. Then under 129, terms of the office of the Auditor General. 130, acting Auditor General when post is vacant. Form and manner of the keeping the public account under section 131, and under section 132, reports of Auditor General to be laid before Parliament. Area of compliance financial audit by CISA office. What they do, audit against provision of fund, audit against rules and regulation, audit of sanction of the expenditure of government expenditure, property audit with extension beyond securitizing. While conducting the audit, so if we go the website of the CISA, look here, it is the Comptroller Auditor General's website in Bangladesh, and আমরা জানি এটা একটা সাংবিধানিক পদ, and this is the audit directorate. So here, look here, Director Social Safety Net, Agriculture, Local Government, LDC, Commercial Audit, Function Audit, this Difference Directorate, that office, Health Audit, revenue audit, works audit, civil audit, foreign aided audit, that means project, power and energy audit, defense audit, government, mission audit, transport audit, telecommunication science technology audit, IT and public service audit. So lot of audit within the CSG office. So this is the fundamental audit and constitutional audit in Bangladesh. We are discussing the tax audit. Also that audit conducted by the CSG because and government audit. And what we are saying, we have the CA Institute in Bangladesh. They are the auditor of a statutory auditor, etc. But government audit is CSG audit, and DCT or tax authority, what they doing, that is also the audit. So we will discuss here. So just look here. He is our Mr. Muhammad Muslim Chaudhuri. He is the Comptroller Auditor General of Bangladesh. Before joining here, he was the Secretary of Finance and etc. He has a long, good career in accounting. The constitutional mandate is that Comptroller of Auditor General of Bangladesh is the constitutional position in our country. Now, income tax audit in Bangladesh, and what is tax audit? So a tax audit is an examination of our tax return by the tax authority to verify that our income and deduction or expenditure are accurate. So a tax audit is when the NBR decide to examine our tax return a little more closely and verify that our income and deduction are accurate. So this is the tax audit. Officially NBR or our tax authority, when they think that for that means justification, taking the how much money we are showing in our income or deduction, etc. So the tax audit is an examination of our tax authority for verified our submit return. An income tax authority, that income tax audit is the examination of business or individual tax return by the tax authority. So here, purpose of income tax audit: to ensure maintenance of proper record and to assist income tax authority to assess correct income assessing. And the purpose of tax audit of a return examination is to determine whether reports filed with the taxing authority are correct. The tax agency or our NBR identify and resolve taxpayer errors. Selection method: there are different types of selection method. Some are random selection, some are thinking that, look here, the DCT select certain number of income tax return be audited by ER through random selection also. And sometimes no error needed for found enforcement, but they select for the audit and take the notice to the SSC, giving the notice to the SSC, and the SSC come for hearing. So after hearing, they resolve it. And documentation. Now, taxpayer rights. As a taxpayer, you and I and all have to write what is right. When a return is selected for examination or audit, the taxpayer has certain rights during the process. The taxpayer has the following right. What is a right to professional and that professional treatment by the authority, a right to privacy and confidentiality about tax matter. That means if they found some problems, if they published it within the paper, so that should be against the privacy and secrecy or confidentiality, because everyone have the right for privacy. So a right to know why DCT is asking for information. Sometimes DCT is taking the notice, giving the notice, and asking for information and different different types of document. Why they ask it? That should be right to know the SEC also, how the DCT will use it, and what will happen if the requested information is not provided. A right to representation by once or by authorized representative. Sometimes SEC cannot go to the tax office due to the business and other thing. So that means SEC can represent, and that means another person on behalf of him or her. A right to appeal disagreement, both within the tax authority and before the court. Sometimes, for example, if you have the, for example, house rent, you have a flat, you rented it, so it's your income, and you have shown it in your return. For example, you are saying that you are getting 20,000 taka per month as a rental income. But DCT said that no, you will get in your area there are nominal or minimum 30,000 per month in your 1,500 square feet flat. So that can be disagreement. Actually, you are getting 20,000, but DCT imposes 30,000. So they tax it, calculating 30,000 your rental income per month. So that time we can be disagreement also, both within the tax authority and also in our court. A right to be provided with all information concealing with any changes of tax administration. So this is the fundamental rights for the taxpayer. And tax audit representation, we know it. So you and me, we are also work with on behalf of another person. So sometimes we are the tax representative. So tax representation, also called audit defense, occurs when the tax or legal professional standard on behalf of the taxpayer during an examination. Tax law allow a taxpayer to have an authorized representative. So this is our jurisdiction. The representative must have permission to the practice before the NBR. For example, some are ITP, they are the tax practitioner. Also, some do not pass the ITP, but they are professional. For example, CA, CMA, FCMA, they are also the member of the tax bar association. So they also can represent on behalf of any client. So there is a right. And the types of the representation who are allowed to present taxpayer before the NBR is income tax audit. So we can face that type of audit. So joint audit. We sometimes we say as a big organization, for example, big banks, they are engaging more than 2 audit firms. So it's the joint audit. That means more than 2 firms. That is for timing audit and volume of work is used. That's why. Also, authority can take a joint audit different steps. For example, if NBR think that there are tax wings and so VAT wings and custom basic, 3 person make a committee or group, and they audited within an organization for understanding for that means tax, VAT, customs all together. It can be also be joint audit. So in the examination of joint audit, business or individual tax return by a common audit team with members of 2 or more division or agencies. For example, tax here, VAT wings, tax wings, custom wings. Tax situation as one tax audit to gain uniform actual and legal assessment concerning this situation. So joint audit can be happen. Now day by day all things are changing. So also sometimes we have seen here changing the audit approach also. So traditional approach was that, look here on the left side, here taxpayer and audit unit, that means our tax authority or DCT, office of the DCT. So here, after audited taxpayer, outcome is audit outcomes, and they rectify it and again submit the return, revised return, and also dues they can be paid through the check or challan. But that traditional approach now transfer in risk-based audit. So what is this? Here also have the tax authority as well as taxpayer or SEC. It comes the audit and first time identify the risks by the tax authority. That is central risk analysis and audit selection. Which item should be audited? So they make a plan. It's called audit plan. Based on that plan, tax authority audit to the SSC. And from there outcomes comes again centrally. They minimize it and data update. So here main thing is that think about centrally risk analysis and audit selection. It is the risk-based approach where risk is high, or for example for tax concealment and other thing where it can be higher, that type of item can be taken for the audit first. So this is the risk-based audit where risk more, then take as the first. So here if you see the right test picture, so here if probability for concealment of the tax, it's impacted that with the red color, if you see, is also they have the specific risk management process. So based on that risk management process, if we see the cube of red color, it is the highly impactable and for the tax authority. So in this case, in this risk-based audit, they first choose red color, and after completing red, then they will choose yellow color. And green color is regular, they are not concealing the tax, so but they can audit it 1 year after or 2 years later, etc. But red color, every year red color should be audited because of the probability here is that tax concealment. So here the conventional audit approach adopted by tax authority is to examine all items in the taxpayer financial statement with the intention forming an audit opinion and level of tax compliance. It is the conventional. But risk-based approach, they took the specific item for a risk area where is higher. And nowadays the risk indicator using a different types of item is here, and risk analysis can be possible through also the system through. For example, nowadays we have the VAT. For example, we have VAT wings, tax wings, customs wings. So few days ago, and also NBR declared, if we see that one company, they paid the tax showing a financial statement where they occurring loss. But same company through the VAT authority, they submit another financial statement because they paid VAT based on the sale. But net profit showing loss, another financial statement. So this, they import goods or machineries or item or raw material from outside, and the customs duty they paid. So there are different, combination of both the wings. So NBR decided that they will share each wings to another wings their one company's financial statement for that means escaping that means increasing the revenue also. And that same company, they take another financial statement where profit is high, they submit to their bank for taking the loan also. So that problem, solving that problem, want to solve that problem, also CN is to introduce a new system. We will see it later on. So here, when real-time data impose and real-time risk management can be possible, through that our if we not do the same work that's prescribed the authority, so it goes for the non-compliance. So non-compliance taxpayer then be come under the tax audit, and for protecting compliance taxpayer also NBR giving the sometimes the পুরস্কার ঘোষণা করা হচ্ছে বিভিন্নভাবে তাদেরকে ভালো ট্যাক্স পেয়ারদেরকে উদ্বুদ্ধ করার উদ্দেশ্যে এনবিআর কিন্তু বিভিন্ন রকমের কাজ করে যাচ্ছে, মেডেল দিচ্ছে, তারপরে সিআইপি হিসেবে ঘোষণা করতেছে, এটসেট্রা এটসেট্রা। সো হিয়ার when selection for tax audit are made, the following risk factor can be primarily be evaluated. Risks and tax audit aspect include the yearly tax audit area, taxpayer performance establishment, and qualifying of tax. Here performance thing that, look here, if I am a salaried person, so this year and I last year what I submit my return and given the tax, and this year if I give the tax less than previous year, but my job and position everything is the same, so that would be the tax purpose that file go for the tax purpose, because of thing that the SSC conceal their income. And qualification of taxpayer, experience, etc. data. So procedure of risk analysis and risk management is also the applicable for the tax purpose. So here first we have to select and we assess the risks, and based on the assessment choose the return or document, and that means DCT next time that record that means serve the notice, and after serving notice take the hearing. After hearing that can be possible to hear proceed of risk analysis and risk management, selection of that means automated process can be happen, and that from the data warehouse through the server also. And if when all SEC return submit through the online, that online data can be within the data warehouse of the NBR server, and from that data they can easily, through the query, they can easily select for the audit in future. So here risk-based auditing is a style of auditing which focus upon on the analysis and management of the risks. A traditional audit would focus upon the transaction which should make up financial statements such as the balance sheet. A risk-based approach will seek to identify risks with the greatest potential impact. We know this is the overview income tax. Here overview income taxation in Bangladesh. So within the assessment cycle,